everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I know I'm 28 minutes early. I know my day got shifted around and I thought, you know what? Let's just hop on and do this. So, guys, hello. How is everybody today? Glad you're all joining us. We're going to answer questions off of the Patreon group. It's what we do. Well, it's been almost every week, but it's going to be every second week now. If you'd like to join the Patreon group, here is the link to join us. You can come ask your questions. Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you. I know, right? I got a haircut. You want to see the back too? It's really adorable. I was like, oh, look at that thing. Oh my God. But I'm growing out my bangs, okay? Because, you know, I tried bangs and I can't. So anyway, I'm going back to not having bangs again. But yeah, it was nice getting all that hair cut off. I tell you, if you want your hair to grow fast, just always want it short and then it grows like super fast like that. It's crazy. But yeah, so so thank you guys. You're all beautiful too. It's one day, maybe actually one day, not maybe, but one day 100%. I'm planning to do like a huge seminar where I can like meet and see all of you guys. And I think it'll be really, really cool. I bet you it'll be a really good looking crowd because, it's always when I was doing coaching way back, I'd like meet people. And first of all, I'd be like, oh my goodness, subscribers are real. Like, But then all of you guys are so gorgeous. Like every single one of you, like it's crazy, So I know that would be so fun, right? You can just imagine. You'd have a lot of fun. I love public speaking too. So yeah. Gerry will be there. Andrew, sure. So that was actually something I was looking into. In the next little while is actually going around and doing a tour and seminars. I thought that would be really fun. Be great to have that energy, Awesome. So guys, let's dive into these questions we have here today. So we've got Manali's question. Oh, right. It's been a while since I did this. So it's been a while. It's been a week. 2 weeks, actually. 2 weeks. 2 minutes and 21 seconds. I answered your question. There we go. Okay. So, okay. So, Manali's question is, do you recommend Subliminals meditation for faster results? Okay, they work. They're good. I mean, anytime you can focus on what you want is good. The only time, I personally, what I do, and everybody knows this, is I only do intentions and a mental diet. Like I keep just on top of my thoughts. I don't have a lot of time to do sats. I mean, I basically, when I do go to bed, I do intentions before I go to bed. I always am doing intentions and keeping on my mental diet and constantly remind myself that, that I'm the creator of my reality and that everybody is me pushed out. And, and I always create things a win-win for everybody and that, helps them, helps me and everybody. It's for the good of everyone involved. But I mean, the one thing that, I would caution to putting on subliminals and meditations is if you're just putting them on or recording your own intentions, is putting them on, listening to them, and then letting your mind wander. Okay, because your conscious mind here, these thoughts up here, are the ones that are creating. Okay, so and when you're thinking, so if you've got your earbuds in and you're listening to your own intentions, but consciously you're actually like worrying and thinking and totally tuning out what's going into your ears, you're creating whatever you're worrying about. Okay, so that's the only one thing that I would caution. The most powerful thing that you can do is hold the thought in the cathedral of your mind, which is your frontal lobe, where your actual thoughts are. And when you hold your intention and focus, this part of your brain is what's putting out the energy, okay? That's connecting with your subconscious mind to put out that energy, okay? So this is the part that you want to have it in. So yeah, listen to subliminals, please do. The more that you're getting in there what you want, but there is no way to reprogram your subconscious mind and let your conscious mind think whatever it wants. That's not the way it works, okay? So as long as you're doing subliminals and meditation, focusing on what you want, right, then good. Does it speed it up? it's sped up when you just basically say, I intend for my manifestation to come quickly. You know what? It's about already being there. So living from the end, being, basically saying it's done. I'm there. I have it now. I have exactly what I want right now, and refusing to ever look at a situation like it's not what you want. Okay. So an example of that, okay, because you live in the end at every single moment that you have. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I texted Gerry and I'm waiting for Gerry to text me back to, for whatever reason, and then he doesn't text me back in 5 minutes. In that moment, when I think about it, I've got an option. Okay, I can live in the end of rejection and say, oh, that's it, he's mad at me, he's probably blocked me, and he's never going to text me back, he's ignoring me. That's living in the end of rejection. Or in that moment, I can make the choice to say, no, you know what? I'm God of my reality. Everyone is me pushed out. No, Gerry's totally going to text me back. He's going to text me back right now. Maybe he's just busy right now. He'll text me back in a minute. No, in fact, even better. He's going to drop everything and text me back right now. Okay. So that would be living from the end of getting that text back. So do you see the difference, right? So, live in the end that you want right in that moment. So live in the end with your assumption of what the situation is, the assumption of what you think the person thinks about you, your assumption of what's going on in a relationship, right? So, and the big part of it, right, is to not make it personal about you, right? I remember, I there's this one guy I dated, and he like never wanted to be in a committed relationship. And I was always like, what's wrong with me? Wrong with me? Why aren't I good enough? Why aren't I good enough? And then finally one day when I was ready, I was dumping him. I was done, right? This was sort of like, before, well, I knew of law of attraction, but it was all kind of before, I was really, putting a lot of focus in. I was really young there. And finally one day I was like, you know what, I've had it. You know what, I've had it. And I one day when I dumped him, right, I said, you got to come over. We need to talk. And he came over and we started talking. And I said, hey, you know what? I just need to know one thing because this is over. And finally I had the guts to ask him, right? I said, I need to know one thing. Why did you? And I said, look, I'm dumping you because you don't want to committed relationship ever. And I said, that's not what I want. We want two separate things, right? And I said, well, I need to know one thing. What was wrong with me that you didn't want to be in a committed relationship with me? And he looked at me and he was shocked. He was like, Amanda, he was like, it had nothing to do with you. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, no. He's like, I've got baggage from other relationships. He's like, I just didn't want to do that again. And I was like, oh. So here's me, right? The whole entire time, I had basically, right, projected he had baggage and did not want to be in another committed relationship, which is fine. But then when that showed up in my reality, I turned around and made it mean I wasn't good. Okay. So I made a second story to it. Like I just completely made a mess of it. Right. So really, right, that's what we want to do in our relationships now is if looking to create something, right? And say, for instance, your SP just wants to be friends with benefits, okay? Not to make it mean that there's something wrong with you, okay? To look at from, okay, what did I create this person with? What have I projected on them? And then when you've got that and you say, okay, okay, fine, I projected that they got baggage. Okay, great. Okay, I'm good. Okay, you know what? It's not about me, it's them. I intend for so-and-so to be over their baggage and ready to be in a commitment with me. Okay, so what I'm saying is don't create a second story that, you're not getting what you want with them because you're not good enough. It could be, that could be your block, but, let's just start with I'm perfect and I'm God of my reality and I'm amazing, right? You can create stories of insecurities if you want, but that's not going to help you get to your goal. Okay, so, when it comes to relationships, you always want to make sure that, your story, your beliefs about relationships are good. Your beliefs about the other person support them wanting to be with you. And your beliefs about yourself and you being good enough and perfect and amazing and God of your reality, which you are, is also intact as well. So those three areas, right? So the second part of this question, which I totally got off track with, was, can you explain the difference between subliminals and meditation? Okay, so subliminals are basically, subliminals that you listen to them and they're basically, they go into your mind. So there's subliminal messaging that you may understand, you may not understand when you listen to. And the meditations is actually guided meditations. So you're actually focusing on something, right? I remember there was a meditation of, Deepak Chopra's, that, he says, imagine, we're all one and everyone's a part of you. And, so it's actually you're meditating, you're focusing, you're visualizing. That's some of them, some meditation. People meditate on, just thoughts that they have, thoughts of, getting what they want. A daydream is a meditation as well, right? So basically a subliminal would be like a below sort of threshold. Like you may have messages in there. You could also have subliminals that you can actually understand what they're saying. So yeah, it's whatever you like to do, right? So I think maybe you're talking about meditation music, but meditation is basically, is you would focus on something, right? So, it's yeah, you meditate on, so you think about, you ponder, yeah, sometimes guided meditations you focus on. So yeah, can we desire multiple things at once and all at a faster rate, like weight loss and SP? Yeah, you can focus on as much as you want. I mean, I focus on my relationship, which gets better and better every day. I focus on my business. I focus on my family relationships. I focus on my health and wellness. I focus on all of it. I mean, now the thing is, right, is when I make a big change in my life, I may put more focus on one thing rather than another. But I mean, I do, basically, I do make sure that I clean up my mental diet in all areas. When I first started my mental diet and focusing on my life, I didn't do it all at once. I started with, relationships, my business, money, family, and I kind of, now that they're all good, now I can do it all at once. So you may not want to tackle a bunch of things that you have resistance with at once. You may feel overwhelmed. It's completely up to you, right? That, really, I mean, asking the question, how do I get faster results, is coming from, I don't have what I want now. And where you really want to be is, I have what I want now. And, and subliminals, meditation, I mean, they're all great tools, but, they don't replace a mental diet. They don't replace, avoiding reacting. They don't replace, the law of assumption and making sure that the assumptions that you have are in line with what your end goal is. They don't replace living in the end. Okay. They're great things to add on there. And there's many different ways to do it. And there's many meditations and music and, and hypnotizing yourself. But at the end of the day, we've got to watch our mental self-talk. And, the quicker it happens when we choose to actually live from that end and decide that it's done, because you're the creator of your reality. You're not waiting for anything or anyone. Okay. So the next question, I hope I answered that sufficiently. I intend that I did. Let's take a look here. So 12 minutes and 35 seconds. Okay, so this next question is Alex's question. Hello, Alex. Let's take a look here. So we've got, so sorry, the first part was cut off. Oh, no worries. Sorry, I didn't answer this question last week. It kind of came on after, I didn't refresh, like after I started. So I ran into an issue with my specific person. We have been madly in love for over a year now. And all of a sudden, one day she caught me in a small lie and she was very disappointed. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. I tried to apologize profusely and she got even angrier. The lie was why I wasn't at work on time. Afterwards, she texted me freaking out saying I'm overthinking too much and it's exhausting her and she doesn't want to deal with it anymore. And she also told me the situation has made her realize some things and she wants me to leave her alone. Now, when I see her, she's very cold and barely acknowledges my existence. Just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about spending a life together and I was crying in happiness and talking about it. Now this, is there any way I can win her back? I mean, you've created her. You pushed out. You've created her to be everything that she wants to be. All of these things that happened, I mean, unfortunately, they were your fears and, you were creating them, I think, the biggest thing here, right, is to take a look at everybody's relationship and say, what's the most important thing that you want here? And really what it is you guys all want just to be loved unconditionally. Okay. If you want to be loved unconditionally, you want to be trusted and you want to be treated with respect, you have to start assuming that that's what the other person is going to treat you like. Okay. I remember, I had a boyfriend and I created that he would be upset at me all the time, no matter what I did. And sure enough, he was upset at me all the time, no matter what I did, because that's what my assumption was of him. So that's what I got back from him. Okay. And then when I started assuming that he was patient, loving, understanding, and that I could do no wrong and he didn't care and he loved me no matter what, then that's what he shifted into. Okay. So we want to watch what our opinions are of other people. Actually, in the next couple of weeks, actually, maybe in the next week or something, there is a success story being posted with Connie. And the client that actually wrote that, one of Connie's client, she was very specific. She said, you know what really changed it around for me? She said, was changing my assumptions of the other person. And that's really what it comes down to. Okay. Is you want to change the person into somebody that you want. Now, the real big trick is doing that when you've got past history with somebody, right? So, when it comes to changing stuff that you've got past history with other people, at some point you're going to have to say, look, you know what? I believe they can change. I believe that they can be a different person. Okay. I mean, that comes down to, right? So, I mean, I would definitely, Alex, get on top of your thoughts, start recreating who you want her to be. If you want help with your intentions and guidance on that to find your blocks of what you've created here, our coaches can definitely help you. But what you're doing is you've got to recreate and change your story and your opinion about her, and obviously stay on top of your thoughts, because you've created that whole scenario. All of it was created by you because you're the only one in your reality. She's you pushed out. Okay, this could have went very differently. I don't know if you've got a history or like what's happened on and off, but you're obviously getting hot and cold behavior there. Okay, so somehow and we want to get to the bottom of how you're creating it, so you stop creating it, or just skip straight to focusing on what you want and focusing on her being the person you want, staying on top of thoughts, and then that's going to end up shifting it as well. Okay. So we've now got Amelia's question. Oh, amazing. I haven't heard from you in a while, Amelia. I wonder how you're doing. That's great. Let's take a look here. So let's see here. So 16 minutes and 40 seconds. So 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay, so my question is about blocks. Yay, blocks. Not yay, we don't like them, but they're okay if they're there, we can remove them, right? Okay, I believe in manifesting, but when it comes to my specific person, ignoring circumstances and just going all in when it comes to manifesting him. Okay, so I don't do it. Okay, no, fair enough. I really want him, but it's like I allow my fear to get the best of me, even though I do, in fact, believe that this works and I can do it. I tend to look at circumstances and use it as an excuse as to why it can't happen for me, but I want to be in this relationship no matter what. I don't know why I keep holding myself back. Any tips on how to go 100%? Go all in 100% and do it because I deserve my dream life to come true. Yeah. Okay. Get it. Totally. So, I mean, I guess the biggest question, right, is like, why? Why? I mean, really why? I want to know your motive for it. Like, I mean, you want to take a look and maybe there is no reason why. It's just a habit. That could be the other part of it. But, really, what it comes down to. I mean, basically what I do is I think of it this way. I mean, I don't know. Is there past history with your SP? I guess that's another big question, right? I mean, is it just that no matter who it is, that you let circumstances get in the way? Basically, right, the first thing that I will say is our thinking is a habit. So anytime I start to make changes in a specific area of my life, I have to first of all realize that my thinking is a habit. And then I have to start doing things to change my thinking and, doing those things consciously and putting a conscious effort in. Right. So like one of the common blocks for people with manifesting relationships is thinking the other person has free will when they don't. Okay. And then giving them free will and then reacting to the circumstances or thinking that, they've said something, So really, I mean, what it sort of comes down to is constantly reminding yourself that, you know what, it is you pushed out, that they have no free will, and to constantly create little things that are really, not important that they say and do that remind you of that. I mean, I remember one day, just for the heck of it, I had Andrew calling me his little billionaire, and it was like, it was so odd, right? But I was like, when he started doing that, I was like, oh yeah, you don't stand a chance, buddy. I'm like, yeah, you definitely are me pushed out. Like, seriously, like, this is done. So what can you do to, all of you guys in your relationship, what can you do for the other person to get them to do something that's really, not a big deal, that's got zero resistance, but it's kind of like, whoa, you know what? Like, wow, that you pushed out and that you've created that, right? So, I mean, going all in, right, is, take a look at what the thing is, I mean, I would go through and find out what your story is, I mean, what is your story? This is more of a coaching question than, it is, that a question for me to answer. I mean, I have more questions. I mean, I would want to know why you're holding yourself back. Is it just a story that you're holding yourself back? Or are you actually having a belief about yourself or a belief about relationship that's getting in the way, that's blocking it? I mean, there could be, a few things going on here, but like me, myself, how do I go all in is, like I said, I create little things, with everyone as me pushed out. And I consciously stay on top of my thoughts, especially in the areas that I want to make the shift, right? And I watch my mental diet. So, if, like, for instance, I know one thing that held me back before when it came to like health was not thinking I was good enough, for, whatever the case was, right? So then I have to take it off the pedestal and say, no, I am good enough. So what is your specific thing that's holding you back is really going to be the key to making this come true. But if you're just forgetting that the guy has free will, well, then, do those little tiny, manifestations, right? So again, it's a habit. Your thinking is a habit. So get in the habit of reminding yourself that your circumstances don't matter. I mean, it's saying here, you don't ignore your circumstances. I mean, are you reacting? Like, kind of what's going on here when it comes to your specific person, right? Like, and you allow your fears to get in the way. Well, you allow them. You can choose for them not to. But then maybe it's just a block thinking you have a block, right? But maybe there could be something here, right? So I would take a little bit more of a look into it. Maybe sit down and chat with one of our coaches to help you find that block of why you can't, go in fully, because, it could be something blocking you, or, you're just forgetting that, the guy doesn't have free will, or reacting to your circumstances, right? Okay. So Monica's question. So 22 minutes. So 22 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, we've got Monica. If everyone is really me pushed out in my affirmations, can I actually become the person and choose my desired state of being from them? For example, I am Shirley and I've been approved for a new home. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I love that statement. That's a really good one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my name's Amanda and I have a great relationship. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely do that. Those are great ways to set up your intentions. And you're very welcome. I'm going to like that comment. Sophia, awesome. So 22 minutes and 51 seconds. Okay, so hi, Amanda. I'm currently manifesting someone in my life, and I've started to drive past them a lot in the past few days. Like 2 times walked past them in a car, but every time they see me, they drive off. Oh, okay. They've also have me blocked on social media and won't respond to my emails. Okay. I get that I have a block there, but it would be great if you could help me out and maybe do a video on how to get people go approach you when you see them. I'm happy to get to the point of being able to see them again, as it's been over a year since we saw each other and spoke, but I'm struggling with this part. Oh, and you love my videos. Thank you. Thank you. Sophia, you're amazing. So, I mean, the question is, what's the problem with just walking up and asking, and saying hi to them? But I mean, if they're, oh, sorry, you said they got blocked. So you've created that story with the assumptions about them. So, I mean, you create the story that they love to see you, and that they love to hear from you. the question is how are you creating this? How are you creating them? What thoughts are you having that got you blocked on social media? Because you've created them to be like this. Okay. You've created them to treat you like this. I've had people, go from completely being mean to me and hating me to absolutely loving me to death. Okay. Because I've changed my assumption and my opinion of them. That's the big point here, is to change what you've created. Why have you created? Like, what does it benefit you to create that they've blocked you and don't want to see you? You need to revise that past history. Whatever past history you have there, you've got to revise it and change it. Okay. That's a big part of it. Change what things mean, what the past events mean. I've done things. Okay. For instance, okay, let's say I've got plans with Gerry this Friday. I could either be like this. Okay, Gerry, you know what? I'm busy. I can't see you this Friday. I can either assume that Gerry's going to be upset and be mad at me, or I can assume that Gerry's okay, doesn't care, and he's totally happy with it. Okay. Do you see what I mean? So obviously you've done something that you've assumed that they're not going to be happy with, which is in turn created this situation. So you got to go back and change all of that. Okay. Or even still, just start focusing on what you want now. How do you want them to treat you? Write a story about, script out what happens when they see you the next time. Okay. But you're obviously doing your intentions and thinking about them because you've drawn them into your reality to the point where you actually see them. So you've got that far. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So 25 minutes and 29 seconds, guys. We've got the next question from Cece. Hey, Amanda, thank you for all that you do for us. Well, you're so welcome. I was hoping you can give me some tips on how to not get caught up in manifesting a text. My SP sends me good morning text almost every day, and we are very flirty over text. So it's all coming together. Yay, love it. However, sometimes he doesn't send me a good morning text for whatever reason, and I try to make it mean that he got caught up. He had to get up super early and he didn't want to wake me or is still asleep, etc. For some reason, though, I still tend to get anxious and worry about the text while telling myself he just didn't text right now. My thoughts still race. I know it's dumb. I know, because he literally tells me he loves me daily and that I'm beautiful, etc. Oh, it's beautiful. So my manifestation is clearly all coming into the 3D for me now. Is there any advice you can give me over not obsessing about the text? Yeah, fight those thoughts, please. Fight them, fight them, fight them. Okay, like you've really got to fight them. Thinking is a habit. You make a choice to obsess. Okay, maybe part of it is I feel comfortable. I feel good. You can do I feel statements. I feel, secure that he's going to text me. Or, instead of obsessing, start putting yourself to intentions. When I find myself obsessing, I just start doing intentions. I say, okay, you know what? Obviously, my brain wants to think about this right now, and me obsessing and freaking out negatively isn't going to help. So I'm going to make myself do intentions right now. And sometimes I will even sit down with a piece of paper and pen when I feel like that, and I will write those intentions out because I need my brain to focus and get calm. I'll even say, I intend to be focused. I intend to be calm. I intend to feel good about him texting me. Okay, so fight it. You're going to have to fight it. Find a strategy when you do start to overthink and obsess. Try to find a strategy. My strategy is I sit down and write intentions out. Okay, some people go for a walk, etc., etc. Okay, but you've got to figure out something to get in there just to, and then the more you break that habit, okay, that habit of obsessing, the less it's going to happen. Because when you obsess, your thoughts wire together that way, so you get triggered and blah, 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 right? And then all of a sudden, when you break it and you say nope, 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 eventually your brain, it just doesn't do it anymore, because now you've created and you broke that pattern and you've wired your brain together differently. Okay, like I said, I used this story before. I used to have this big story that I wasn't good enough, and then I started cutting that out and saying, no, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. Now I wouldn't dare to think that I'm not good enough. It's not even a thought anymore. It's I'm straight to I'm good enough. So when you interrupt that obsessive pattern enough, you're going to break it. Okay. And it's going to stop. So you're going to have to start, getting in there and breaking it now. Go easy on yourself. You are rewiring your brain. So be patient, go easy on yourself, but start, interfering with it, and it'll stop happening. Thank you. Yeah, don't need to obsess over money either. Just it's all coming. It's all coming. Money is just energy. Way back in the day, they used to trade goats or lambs. They'd be like, hey, I'll take one lamb for that spice, Crazy, right? Build me a hut. Here, take my goat. Now it's just money. It's just numbers on a screen. We don't even see it anymore. It's crazy, right? Everything's malleable in this world. 29 minutes and 8 seconds, guys. 29 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay. And Tanja. I hope I said your name right. Sorry. I got her question here. Hi, Amanda. Hello. I am trying to manifest my SP to commit to me. I am saying my intentions daily whenever I think of him or my situation. Excellent. But I haven't seen any change in him. He only texts me when I text him, and even sometimes he doesn't even reply to my text. Is there anything I can do to get him to commit to me? Well, you're asking me to find your blocks. I don't know, unfortunately, what your blocks are just by reading this. I mean, one thing that comes to mind is, detach from it. Detach meaning, be happy with what you have now. Act as if you've got what you want now. So act as if meaning, I, love my life right now. Everything I have, I'm thankful for. And this would enhance my life instead of, wanting to have something to make us feel good. So, maybe take it off a pedestal. I mean, intend he'll commit to you, but you say you're doing your intentions. So I don't know what other emotions you're having. I mean, guys, one thing right now I'll say straight up is if you're doing intentions and you're still feeling frustrated, angry, anxious, then you've got a block, because if you're doing a mental diet, you're not going to have any of those emotions, because your thoughts create your emotions. So if you're focusing on what you want, you're going to feel good. You're automatically going to create those emotions as like of having something. If you're not focusing on what you want, you're going to have emotions like anxiety, frustration, and we're not doing a mental diet correctly. So I'm not sure. I can't find your blocks over this, from what you wrote there, but you've obviously got some block. You're not seeing it in your reality. I mean, could it be that you're attached? Could it be that he's on a pedestal? Could it be that, we're not on top of all of our thoughts? Is there a past history between you guys? I don't know. So what you want to do is you want to write down all of your complaints, okay, and all the reasons why you think this isn't happening, and you want to start switching them into positive intentions. I mean, to be honest, right? Anything really takes about 2 weeks to change. If something isn't changing within 2 weeks of intentions, then you want to start seeing what kind of block that may actually be there, because really people can change instantly like that. Okay. The quicker you change, the quicker they'll change. Okay. So the quicker you can forget who they used to be and start focusing on the new way, the quicker that they're going to change as well, because it's only you. They're just going to show up how you assume and expect them to show up, or how you think about them, right? So, if you're still living in your old world and making intentions on who the new person you want to be, then you're not fully there yet either, right? So, I mean, either write that list of all your complaints out, change them into positive intentions, and dump, get them out, get all your thoughts out, or even you can check in with one of our coaches, tell their story. We'll be able to help you find your blocks as well. So, yeah, I don't know where it's falling apart there, but it might be somewhere. So we need to sit down and chat with you to find out where that is, to be honest. Okay. So 32 minutes and 25 seconds. Let's see here. 32:25. And guys, you know what? If you are looking to be a part of this and ask your question, I'll put the link in the comments here. Yeah, we're answering the questions from that link there. So yeah, definitely check it out. So I've got this 25. We're answering your question. I love your username. I say that probably every single live. So hi, friend. Hello. I hope you and Andrew are well. We are actually really well. He's great. When it comes to intentions, is it better just to parrot them over and over again in your head? Instead of just waiting until the thought on the subject arises? I do both. I mean, yeah, I do both. I mean, sometimes I'll just randomly go through intentions for the heck of it, especially if my mind's wandering, or sometimes I wait till it comes up. Neither is good or bad, right? They're both, it's a matter of just catching yourself and staying on, your thoughts, right? So for example, there are times that I can go a half a day or more without saying an intention, because the fact that I'm occupied with other things and thoughts of my specific person or money situation didn't come up enough to immediately change thoughts around it. Yeah, that's fine then. If you're distracted, that's totally fine. Other teachers have advised against saying an intention over and over again, because according to them, the subconscious will reject intentions that are forced. No, I'm so sorry to laugh at that. Don't think positive. It won't work. I'm sorry. I definitely appreciate your thoughts on the matter. No problem. So, the power of positive thinking, okay? Like, really, you can never think positive too much. And if you think positive too much, no, your subconscious mind isn't going to reject it. In fact, it's going to speed up your manifestation. Yeah. Okay. So never listen to anybody that says don't focus on what you want. Okay. Because seriously, this is the name of the game. Your thoughts create. The more you focus on something, the faster it's going to happen. There is nothing out there happening that you don't know about. It's simple. You have a thought, it gets created. Okay. Your thoughts create your beliefs create your reality. Okay. I've even had thoughts that I don't believe that I thought of, they've actually manifested. So it's not even your beliefs that manifest, it's your actual thoughts that manifest. Sorry, something was crawling on my wall, so I got rid of it. But it's your actual thoughts that manifest, right? Like, I've had off the cuff thoughts that are just nonchalant. They're not even a belief. I just said them. And then all of a sudden they've manifested. And I'm like, oh, look at that, eh? Like, wow, because I had no resistance to them. But no, you know what? Okay, but if you have the belief that, oh, I can't think of it too much, or it is going to repel my manifestation, you've just created that because you've just said it's going to repel my manifestation. So you've just repelled your manifestation regardless. Okay. So you want to focus on what you want, and you want to fill your brain with it. Okay. This is what Neville teaches. Okay. I know a lot of other people say, think of it and then try to never think of it again. Well, that's impossible. Yeah. Try doing that with money. Try doing that with your specific person. I can't. Are you kidding? Amanda, I was just on holidays for a week. If someone said to me, Amanda, don't think about your business for a week, are you kidding me? Like, no, like, that's never going to happen. Right. So, Andrew, okay, no, don't think about him for a week. Oh yeah, right. Like, I think about that guy. Like, how many times have I talked about him in this thing already? Right. You know what I mean? So that's not how you create with resistance. With resistance, okay, basically, right, like, how I look at it is like, and this isn't necessarily like 100%, not literal, but basically, if I've got 3 negative thoughts, I'll do 6 positive thoughts. Okay. Now, it's not literal like that, but what I'm saying is you want to basically shift that balance of the majority of your thoughts being focused on what you want rather than what you don't want. Okay. You've got 60,000 thoughts a day. Okay. The only thing that's going to repel what you want is negative thinking, because your brain, your subconscious mind, in the law, okay, is you are going to get exactly what you focus on. Okay. So if you're focusing on what you want, you're going to get what you want. The more you focus on what you want, the faster that's going to come, especially if you say it's going to come fast. Okay. So, but if you're focusing on everything you don't want, that's going to end up showing up as well. Okay. So no, your subconscious will never reject intentions from you. They're either blocked or they're not blocked. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't reject intentions. You get what you focus on. Okay. So that's why, for instance, a red ball works. If you focus on a red ball, seeing a red ball, all of a sudden you'll see a red ball because your subconscious mind made the image of a red ball. Every time you say a statement, okay, your subconscious mind makes a picture of it. And then when you make that picture, okay, what ends up happening is you end up manifesting it in your reality because your projector is back there in your mind and it goes out that way. Okay. So you create the thought in here. Okay. And the thought is a beautiful wedding with me and Andrew. I'm in a white dress. He's in a tuxedo. He looks adorable. He's got that cute little smile of his. I create that picture here. Okay. Whether it's in intentions or it's in visualization, that goes into my subconscious mind. The subconscious mind automatically creates a picture out of either my words or my visualization. It creates a picture. As soon as that picture has been in here, flashes in here, then it's in line to be manifested out there. Okay. And that's all the way it works. It's that simple. It's not any more complicated than that. The reason why we don't see it's that simple is sometimes our thoughts aren't focused enough on one thing for a long enough period. Okay. He's going to marry me. He doesn't want to marry me. He's going to marry me. He doesn't want to marry me. With all that back forth, we don't actually see what's manifesting because we're not even focusing on one thing long enough to even probably let it manifest or to recognize its manifestation because we've been all over the place the whole time. Okay. You see what I mean? So no, there's no such thing as focusing on something too much that your subconscious mind rejects it. Your subconscious mind serves your conscious mind, and it doesn't have a choice. It doesn't say, "Ooh, Amanda doesn't want that. I'm not." That's your conscious mind's job. Okay. Your conscious mind is the one that needs to be in control and to say, look, she wants this, doesn't want this. Your subconscious mind, that's why things that you don't want still manifest, because you focused on them. Your subconscious mind doesn't, oh, she doesn't want that. Your subconscious mind isn't sabotaging you in some way. Your conscious mind's sabotaging you. Your subconscious mind's just following orders. Don't shoot the messenger. Get on your mental diet. Put your focus on what you want. The more focus you put on it, the better it's going to be. And this is even proven in quantum physics and quantum mechanics as well. Okay. And so I'm not sure who's saying that, but that's never been the case. You know, I focus on things a lot. The frontal globe. I'm sorry, I just had to read this here. I know neuroscientific explanation for what you're talking about, Amanda. You're spot on. Thank you. I know. Neurolinguistic programmer over here. Love quantum physics. Psychology, all that. My background, love it, love it, love it. So, I was always fascinated with how the brain worked and how I created things. So thank you for that. So somebody backed me up. It's a fact now. Right. So 40 minutes and 13 seconds. Let me rant on. Sorry, guys, for me ranting. So let's see the next question here. Answered your question. Let's take a look. But I think, you know what, when you know how your brain works and you know how, the science works, it makes it so much easier to persist as well. Because I'm a science person. I need to know how this works for me to actually be able to, and I honestly wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't based in science. I would not have a YouTube channel on this. I would not have a coaching company because, I like things based on science, and we're really popular because we get results, and you see it in the comments all the time, it works, it works, it works. And, because we know the ins and outs of it. And I think that's very important. So the more you understand how it works, for some of you guys, the easier it's going to be to persist and to start to reach those goals, because, you realize that none of this is real anyway, right? Like, we're just in a dream, which is crazy, but it's your dream. So make it the best for you. So Nicole, your question. Hey, Amanda. Hi, Nicole. I'm working on getting back in contact with my specific person. Awesome. A coaching session with Denise helped me a lot to figure out my blocks. I know, that's what we do, right? Amazing. I realized there's a story of him not messaging me back. Yeah, okay. I get it. I'd like to reach out again, but I'm afraid, and I know I have to change that story. How long will it take to change the story and manifest him messaging back? How long should I wait to reach out after changing the story? Okay, so if you're worried that the story isn't changed, again, we're not living from the end, okay? I mean, the only person that can reject you is you. And if you're scared of rejection, guess what? You're focusing on rejection, okay? If you're feeling scared, you're not doing a mental diet. You're just not. I'm sorry. Okay, everybody is you. We can't, the thing is, right, is if you're scared to message the person because you're scared they're going to reject you, guess what? They're going to reject you, and they're not going to message you because you're already creating rejection right there. Okay. So we're not saying you have to go out and message all your SPs. Okay. No, but you've got to be comfortable and say, look, I can message them. Of course I can. Of course they want to talk to me. So I intend that they message me. That'll clear the path for it to be open. But, so basically you have to be willing to just message and sure, see what happens, see what's out there, check the water. I mean, but, if you're scared of rejection, then you're really going to have to talk yourself out of that story, big time, because if you're scared of messaging, they're not going to message you first because you're already creating rejection by holding that fear. Okay. You're God of your reality. Everyone is you pushed out, maybe start creating some other evidence to start seeing it shift. Okay. But how long should you wait to reach out after changing the story? Well, like I said, the quicker you forget that they've ever rejected you and that they want to be with you is the thing burnt into your mind is that's when that's going to happen. So, there is no set time. I mean, the thing is, right, is you can do the story, your intentions, for a year and still have a feeling of being scared of being rejected, and they still will reject you because you're holding that scared feeling of being rejected. right? So the day you're just like, look at, you know what? No, I don't care. I'm out of my reality. I'm just going to message them and they're going to talk to me. You know, when you're there, you know what I mean? You know, when you've made that shift. And when you've made that shift, they'll even actually message you because you're just thinking about them. So, really start to change and shift that story and create other things in your reality that could give you evidence of that. Okay. But there's no set amount of time, should just be, as soon as you're ready and as soon as you move it, right? So let's take a look here. So 44 minutes and 16 seconds. We've got hold on, 44:16. Why do I keep doing that? I answered your question. Just typing this out here. So we've got Ava's question. I think that's how you say your name. I intend that is. I intend I got it right. I intend to get everyone's names right. How's that? So, hi Amanda. I just joined. It's my first time asking a question here. Happy to have you. I really enjoy your videos and I find your advice particularly helpful. You're welcome. I intend that it is. You make things so easy to understand. I intend that too. And you're lovable. Thank you. I actually intend that too. Right? Here's my question. What do you think about counseling and EFT? I am an EFT practitioner. I have been a peer counselor. I've gone to counseling in my history. So what do I think about them? I think they're great. If you believe it works, it works. So I actually do Gerry Craig's emotional freedom technique. So let's talk about that. So emotional freedom technique is actually, needleless acupuncture. Like you tap on certain areas, right? And you're like, even though blah, 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 I love myself. And, you release the negative energy. Now, Gerry Craig actually came up with optimal EFT, which is the next step. And optimal EFT is basically using everyone as you pushed out and using a prayer. And so you don't even have to touch people. You just do a prayer or an intention, to change what's going on with them. So, but it's like anything. If you believe it's going to work, it's going to work. If you don't believe it's going to work, it's not going to work. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's many times in my life that, I've had somebody in my life that's just been like a friend of mine that's been a complete mess. And I've intended that they go to counseling and they get their life together, and they have, gone to counseling and got their life together. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tool, right? It's a tool. It will be. If you think it works, it's going to work. I mean, do I think everyone needs counseling? No. I mean, no. There's someone to talk to, right? So, do you think it's good to do counseling to complement the law of attraction techniques? You know what? Actually, I used to have a counselor who was a law of attraction, like he was an NLP practitioner. So, you can have both. A lot of them are both too, right? Counseling and law of attraction. So counseling, right, is more of, fixing past history a lot of the time. And law of attraction coaching, what we do anyway here at Create Your Future is we help you to achieve a goal. Okay. We're not going to help you through trauma. We're going to help you to achieve a goal. We'll help you to revise past history. But, as far as your childhood and all that goes, please go to a counselor or psychologist, to deal with all of that, clean that up. You want to reach a goal and you want to create something in your life, then we're going to help you do that. Whereas counselors aren't really life coaches. And so counselors are kind of dealing with the past history, dealing with the past to get over the past to move on. Life coaching is, you're ready to create something in your life. Yes, we'll help you deal with the past in, as far as it means reaching your current goal, but we're helping you to reach a goal. So yes, counseling and like life coaching or, law of attraction, very good together. Very, very good together. Is it unhelpful to talk about past events and emotions? Well, I mean, yes and no. Okay. So, you know what, if you need to, okay, so you don't want to just ignore it. Okay. Ignore it and be unresolved. Okay. You want to resolve it. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with going to a counselor or a psychologist with the intention that you're going to resolve some past trauma, some past history, come to an understanding to be able to move past it. Good. If you want to chat about it for your entire life and carry that baggage and constantly say, about it, then not good. Okay. So there's a limit. Okay. So yeah, it's helpful to talk about it as long as it's to be the intent of, wrapping it up and moving past it. Okay. But if it's just to be sitting around with a glass of wine with your girlfriends, talking about past hurts and pains and emotions, then guess what? You're just recreating it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but you can't just ignore and not deal with something. What we do here is revision. We will tell you to revise. So change the, the situation. But I mean, but not like major traumas or anything, right? So like, a breakup, we would revise it, look at, create it happening differently, change the meaning of it, right? But real serious traumas, you want to go get those resolved, get past them, right? But again, to wrap it up. Similarly, for EFT, is it bad to say all of those negative statements and perhaps draw attention to those limiting beliefs that we didn't even initially have when we followed the EFT tapping video? Well, okay, wait, no, but you shouldn't be doing the negative. You shouldn't be doing negative. Please don't do that. Don't make them up. Yeah, their setup statement is it's even though I have this sore back, I still love myself, right? So basically what you're doing there is you're accepting the sore back, right? And then you're tapping with the intention that the tapping is going to relieve the pain in the back. So that is, even though I have the sore back, I still love myself. You're taking the, feeling good off of a pedestal, you're accepting your current reality, and then you're tapping with the intention it's going to get rid of the sore back. That's why it works. But don't create, limiting beliefs that you don't actually have. I mean, you said here, is it bad to say all those negative statements and perhaps draw attention to limiting beliefs that we didn't even initially have? Well, don't say stuff like that if you didn't initially have them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's okay if you have them. They sometimes say things that don't resonate with us. Well, then don't say them. Don't do them. Don't. EFT, that setup statement should be specific and particular to your issue. It should be custom to you, not blanket. You can't do blanket of these. Don't. Then you're right. You're just creating problems. You're creating limiting beliefs. Okay. So you want to, if you don't have a problem with money, don't say, even though my money anxiety, don't create that. Okay. So yeah, I do find it helpful doing EFT though. I really like to know what you think about it. We'll only do EFT in that setup statement for your particular issues. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that is my take on all of it. Let's take a look here. So, 51 minutes and 5 seconds. 51.05. Another question we've got. That's Kate's question. Hi, Amanda. I hope you're doing great and having a good week away. Thank you. I did. It was nice. It was nice. We went to the beach house and we did puzzles. It was nice to have some time away. So thank you. Thank you guys for all your patience with that. So your recent videos with your new coaches have been great. I know they're all amazing, aren't they? They really are. My question is about being powerless in my reality. In my personal life and in my work, I feel powerless. People make decisions about me without even consulting me. It's very frustrating. I feel very disrespected. Okay. I don't feel like I have authority in my life. It feels out of control. I know this origins in my childhood. Both my parents were abusive. I felt powerless and worthless as a child. And through these teachings, I can totally see how my subconscious mind continues to project these beliefs into my current reality. All right, so do you have, advice on how to change my subconscious and how to really feel as though I'm God of my reality? Well, one big thing, and I'm sorry that was your childhood. I also came from a rough time myself as a youngster. But, what I do is, the first thing is, I'll share my journey, right? So my journey, to be honest, my childhood wasn't the best. And I actually did go to counseling to get over some childhood trauma. And the counselor that I had, luckily, was actually a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner as well as a life coach. So he was a trauma counselor as well as a life coach. He was both, trained in both. I think he was even a psychologist too. Anyway, so that was really helpful to me to get past, my childhood trauma. When I got past the whole childhood thing and it was so what? That's when it was easier to actually change my beliefs, right? So basically what it was a bunch of revision that was done, through basically, all the things in my childhood. And then realizing that, I don't have to choose to be powerless. I don't have to choose, for everyone to make choices without me. I could choose to have authority over my life. And a big part of that came from, creating little things like throughout the day and being consciously aware of how I created by staying on top of my thoughts. And that's really where the true power came in my life, was when, I got older and I really started staying on top of my thoughts and going, hold on here, you know what, hold on a second, let's sort this out. Let's start getting on top of the thoughts and, whoa, you know what, I'm creating everything, and taking responsibility for, things that I've created in my life was a big part of it, because, even in my mid 20s, there was time where, oh, people are doing things to me, but it never was. I was creating them to do it. So, but it's not about being a doormat either, right? Like, let me put that out there, right? So, you want to create intentions. You want to change that story completely to the opposite of what it is there. Okay. So you want to, take that paragraph that you wrote me and say, you know what? I feel powerful in my reality, in my personal life and in my work. I feel very powerful. Change every word in there to that new story and then keep reading that new story every day. I'm so happy and grateful that I feel powerful and authority of my life, and that everybody consents, ask me for my consent before something changes. I'm over my childhood baggage. I feel good, you know, you know. So forgiveness, a lot of forgiveness needs to happen as well. Okay. So I hope that helps with your question. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look here. So 55 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay. So Alex's question. I have a second question. Yeah, all good. All good. Because I missed yours last week. So sorry. So, oh, you guys are talking again. Okay. So the first question on here, I think the second question was Alex's. Remember, you guys, we'll just bring it up to speed. Remember that they weren't talking and she was like, done with it. She wanted nothing to do with it. Okay. So we've got a second question now. Now they're talking again, and she started texting me more, but she isn't calling me affectionate names like she used to, like babe, and ignores any affectionate things I say. So I'm not sure what I am doing. Is it working or not, or if I'm doing it right? Okay. So can you suggest some intentions to get me on the right track? I know she loves me, but sometimes I slip up. I slip myself up and question or status, or question our status, and if she's still upset with me, which triggers confused emotion. So I'm going to say right now, stop questioning. You guys all know questioning is a huge block. Who are you asking? You're the only person in your reality. That's it. Why question? You have to be where you want to be first. So if you want to be married, you say, look, we're married. We're going to be married. It's happening. It's done. I'm a married woman. Okay. You start creating and you start looking at your situation the way that you want it and making the assumption that it's going to happen that way. The quicker you forget about the fight and the quicker you start thinking it's back to normal, the quicker they're going to get back to normal as well. Okay. So what I see here, Alex, is not staying on top of our mental diet. Mental diet is not questioning. All you guys jot that down. Questioning is a block. You're the only one in your reality. When you ask a question, who are you asking? Answer your own questions. Does she want to be with me? Of course she does. What's our relationship status? We're back in together. So start answering your own questions and start getting on your mental diet. Alex, the best intentions that you can do are the ones that are the exact opposite of your questions and your doubts. Okay. So write down all your questions, answer your own questions into intentions, as well as write down all your doubts and change them into positive intentions. If you would like someone to help you with the list, we definitely have coaches that can help you write out those intentions as well. Also, if you're wondering, the only block I see here is questioning, but if you are looking for your blocks, again, one of our coaches can help you, because I can't, on these calls, like on this video, it's hard to find your blocks because I need to have a conversation with you, because your thoughts create your reality. So what thoughts are you having that is causing this to happen? Okay. So, you want to get on top of your thoughts, but you said it right here, like if you start questioning, then all of a sudden, you trigger confused emotions. Your thoughts create your emotions. So, if you're not feeling neutral and good about the situation, the biggest indication is you're not on top of your mental diet, and you need to get on top of your thoughts. Okay. But excellent. I'm so happy that you actually started to turn that around from the first comment. That was awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's take a look here. 58 minutes and 22 seconds. All excellent questions, guys. So Adila's question. No, I hope I said your name right. I say that every single time, don't I? I'm manifesting moving in with my boyfriend and blending our family, as well as trying for a new baby. Amazing. He and I are on the same page with our desires. Excellent. I just intend for the move to happen by the end of this year. And sometimes I get tripped up on the how or manifesting on my own deadline. I want this to be his idea and for him to take the lead on the move. When you're manifesting on a deadline, do we just continue with our intentions until it manifests? Or do you recommend lightening up on the deadline? Well, I mean, the deadline kind of implies that it hasn't happened yet, right? But I mean, you can create goals and say, look, at you know what, like we're totally going to be moved in together by the end of the year. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like, oh, by the end of this month, yeah, he's gonna totally propose to me. Like, okay, so that's basically creating, right? But saying, you know, I don't have it now. I'm attached to it. I need it to happen by this date. Okay, like you're basically, if you're gonna be disappointed, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Okay, so everyone is you pushed out. Okay, so you know, basically you've got to find your blocks. What's blocking you guys from moving in together? You know, start creating that. You know, he's talking about moving in with you. You know, start creating that he's moving in with you. Maybe start intending that he's talking about it, that he says he wants to look at places, you know. But is there a block that you've got? Like, why haven't you done it yet? Why hasn't he done it yet? Do you think he wants to? Like, what are your assumptions about him? You know, I think I would more focus on that than worrying about the deadline. I mean, you know, basically create in their story that it's going to happen like totally by the end of this year, you know, but not put so much, you know, attachment to it. You know what I mean? Because it can happen anytime. It can happen tomorrow. You guys can start talking about it in 2 days from now. So I would probably stop focusing on putting it out so far too. Just like, look at it's happening now. We're going to talk right now. You know, as soon as the block's gone, if you really, really want this, it's going to happen like that. Now, the other thing is, right, is you can focus on the how, or you don't have to focus on the how. You can also say, look, I don't care how it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Or you can be as detailed as you want with making it happen. Okay. Now, just let it be known, though, if you go detailed on making something happen, what's going to happen is you could block it really, really easily. But if you just open it up and say, look, I don't care how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen now, then you know what? And I believe that it can, right? You know, and I feel like it's going to, and that's it. You know, you open it up more, because what happens when you create something? Okay, and this is how you get partial manifestations, is your thought has to navigate all your previous beliefs. And sometimes your previous beliefs will partially block something entirely. So sometimes if you make it so specific, you'll just completely block it. And sometimes when you make it more general, you know, you open it up and you give it more doors to possibly come through. Neither is right, neither is wrong. They're both right, they're both good. You know, that's fine. You know, it's how you want to do it. Okay, so some things, I don't care how they come to me. I don't care as long as they show up. Other things, I want to be very specific about. But just know that when you're very specific about something and you've got a specific way that's going to come, you know, or you've got the how, then you've got to make sure that the how has been completely unblocked. Okay. Now, you know, thinking about how isn't a block only if, you know, you're making the how so specific that, you know, you've got other blocks. So you're like, oh, well, you know what? I intend, you know, like that. He says he wants to marry me, move into that house. But then you're like, but that house is never going to fit me and my family. Well, you know what I mean? Like, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because you've created that house is never going to fit you and your family. And yet you want to live there. And that's the only way it's going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to look at all of that big picture, right? But I mean, you know, when you think about the how, I mean, and you just say to yourself, I don't care how it happens, it's going to happen. Or you can create how it happens, you know. But don't get all focused on that. The most thing that you want to focus on is talking about moving in together, you know, deal with all those little details in your mind and say, no, it's okay. It can happen whenever, and that's fine. It's going to happen now. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Let me just refresh this page to make sure I got everybody's answers on here and questions. Let's see. Yeah, I got everybody's. Amazing. Well, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Amy, you can intend that you have no blocks, but you know, you still, you know, the funny thing is about that though is it's your blocks come and go, right? So for instance, um when right now I say, well, let's say for instance, I want Gerry to call me, and I say I intend for Gerry to call me, right? And then I'm like, I've got 0 blocks of resistance, but Gerry's busy. Well, now I've just blocked it because Gerry's busy. Blocks are only statements that are statements that are contrary to what you're creating, right? So, like, for instance, right, like, you say, oh, I got 0 blocks in resistance. Well, what's a block of resistance, specifically? Well, it depends on what you're creating, right? So, yeah, I do use the statement, I got 0 blocks in resistance. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that all your thoughts are in line and allowing what you want to show up. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being on here and asking some, major good questions, and joining me today. And we're going to do this again next week, and then we're going to every 2 weeks. So yeah. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.